Leads come from mainly for a plumber. Leads come from organic optimization of keyword terms on your own branded website, as well as your map present and the integration of reviews. That's where it comes from. And most of the leads for you are categorically going to come from Google.
Right.
90% of search, maybe you could give Yahoo and Bing 10% nowadays.
Maybe even less.
Maybe less.
It keeps shrinking.
And maybe something from social media, but this is a direct response deal. You're going to get them mostly from Google or the other people who show up in organic, which would be the places where you can buy leads from. Yeah. And in his case, he said, well, they do show up. I'm like, okay, they do show up, but Google primarily wants to see a local company. Therefore, that national website doesn't show up anywhere in the top 10. Hey there, guys. It's Nolan and Jason here with Plumbing Webmasters.
Howdy.
How's it going? This is going to be a true client story today. And besides true client story, I don't even know what to call it. True client story, trouble with leads.
There you go.
Trouble with leads. No keyword stuffing of the title today.
No trouble with leads and plumbing SEO.
Right. There you go. It doesn't have to be that. All right. So I got an email, and I'm just going to read part of what it says, and I talked to this guy already. Really nice guy, by the way, named, let's call everybody Bob. His name's Bob. Yeah. I am in the metro Atlanta and northwest Georgia. So he's actually in the northwest of Atlanta, kind of out in a rural sticks area.
That's probably close to where my sister lives, actually.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm not going to say the city because there may not only be one plumber there. He says, I'm tired of competing for the customer. I feel like I am constantly watching my phone to make sure I get my quote in before everyone else, and then it stops. It was supposed to be a message, by the way, about what he was looking for, not venting about situation. But anyway, he shared a little bit on there, and then I called him about it. And Jason, he doesn't have a website. He has a Google account that looks like it was kind of thrown together. Maybe even Google put it up for him. I don't know.
Yeah.
But he doesn't get anything off of it, and then he's in a rural market. And so he basically mentioned every lead company there is and frustration for all of them.
Yeah.
All the way down from some ones you never hear about to the most popular name brand ones.
Right.
And he's tried them all, and he's tired of it. And I just thought I'd talk about it as a true client story because I really get different versions of this from I have no website and I buy all my leads. And by the way, in case you're not aware.
That's heartbreaking when I hear that personally.
It is heartbreaking a little bit. I don't feel bad for him.
I feel bad for him in the sense that I know how badly they're being screwed and how hard they're having to work to scrounge up.
I mean, if I had to get real serious about this, I'd point the finger back at the plumber usually. Yeah. It's kind of like a shame on you for not doing this. Now, he's calling now, but really there's a trend towards buying a lead.
Yeah.
So because there's been so much advertising towards the lead companies, a lot of the business owners think that they have to go buy the lead. Right. So they
think that's their only option. Or in some cases, it's easy. It's expensive. But the easier it is, the more expensive
it's easier, and it's way more expensive. It's going to cost 300 to 500% more ultimately than somebody showing up in organic keyword terms, mapping reviews of their own company, not reviews with the other sites.
Right.
And there's this trend that's been kind of progressing now for a couple of years where people start looking instead of at online marketing and SEO. I'd even say the term SEO is in a shift, and I really consider us, just an online marketing agency for the client.
Right.
Because stuff that we do will affect SEO, but it's all the minutia details that we do with marketing that affect it, not the act of SEO itself, maybe.
Yeah. Well,
it is SEO, but it's
only a small part of what we do is strictly considered SEO by most people, but all of it affects ranking.
Agreed. The way you said it, agreed. So people misunderstand SEO in the first place. They look at it as though and even Google will make references, which is not true. They just screwed up the definition of it. They'll make references to SEO, which is search engine optimization, as if it's search engine manipulation.
Right.
So it's like search manipulation, and it's not search manipulation. We help clients get found online by doing a lot of things properly. A lot of clients look at SEO and think it's not possible, and then they, in their brain, route directly to a lead.
Yeah, because it is complicated.
Because
it's far more complicated than saying bzz and buying a lead.
It's gotten more complicated, and then with all the propaganda about a lead, the clients even more kind of screwed up with their thought process towards online marketing than they were even 5 years ago. Right. So it's gotten more confusing. And so this guy, email was more of a desperation thing for, hey, I'm looking for plumbing marketing online and I'm getting screwed and I don't know what to do. So when I call people like him up, I'm not sure what I'm going to get. So I'm always a little trepidatious because it's like, how.
Trepidatious. That's a good word.
Okay. All right. It's my word of the year.
Word of the year.
I'll come up with one next year. So I'm always a little concerned because I don't know what the ignorance level towards marketing is going to be, or the obstinance towards marketing. I don't know what am I going to run? I need leads, and then they hang up.
I don't need SEO.
I
just want leads.
SEO and website stuff. I just want leads, and I'm like, well, where do you think leads come from, sir? It's like they come from people that optimize online, that paid to get up there. And the trick to the whole deal, I actually, to get off of this guy, which is interesting, but right before this podcast, so that was a plumber out of Northwest Georgia, and I had a call with a guy found us with water restoration, which is plumbing adjacent, right?
Yeah.
And so I found this guy, and he was a franchisee of a semi-major water restoration company.
Okay.
And I was talking to this guy. Now he runs under a folder of the franchisor, and he's not optimizing. And the franchisor said, well, we've got marketing. They gave him the big dog and pony show. We're going to do all this work for you and marketing and everything and get you leads. He gets 2 leads every 4 months. And he's been in business a year, so I presume he's gotten 6 leads, right? And so the marketing people for the franchisor haven't even been able to get his Google My Business account up yet. So there is no map for him. And he calls me up looking for stuff. I said, okay. And I'm talking about where leads come from. That's why I got off onto this one.
Yeah.
Leads come from mainly for a plumber. Leads come from organic optimization of keyword terms on your own branded website, as well as your map present and the integration of reviews. That's where it comes from. And most of the leads for you are categorically going to come from Google.
Right.
90% of search, maybe you could give Yahoo and Bing 10% nowadays.
Maybe even less.
Maybe less.
It keeps shrinking.
And maybe something from social media, but this is a direct response deal. You're going to get them mostly from Google, or the other people who show up in organic, which would be the places where you can buy leads from. Yeah. And in his case, he said, well, they do show up. I'm like, okay, they do show up, but Google primarily wants to see a local company. Therefore, that national website doesn't show up anywhere in the top 10. Right. And I said a second.
And without a GMB, there's no way for it to have map packs showing. So.
Yeah, and there's really no, the restoration company is a bigger one for restoration, but none of them are big enough to get like Google to say you deserve to show up high in the top 10.
Right.
It's not Yelp. It's not Roto-Rooter.
Right.
Right. And so there they are. I said, well, they have almost no chance for that local organic listing. I said, the only chance they have ties back to local again on them wanting to show local companies through your GMB listing.
Right.
Via the franchise. And they failed miserably at even getting you to hook up with that.
Yeah.
Right. So the best they could have done was hook up local. You would have been none the wiser. Google could care less that it's a franchisor, but that gets listed with, franchise, water restoration franchisor of Waxahachie, Texas, where they're located. You couldn't find them anyway because they have no stinking website and no Google account.
Right.
Right. And so they could have done that, but they didn't. They would have fooled the water restoration guy into thinking that they had some effect on optimization, but they couldn't get the GMB account listed. I went into this whole thing of explaining it. He said, oh, no, they're doing this. I said, no. Google wants to see a local company. The only effect you could have had happen was to have your own local website at your house or business address show up in mapping as an indirect result of the whole situation.
Right.
And they're
not having a GMB listing done in a year is just beyond.
Yeah, and
that's no excuse for that.
It's completely optimizable,
Right.
completely affected by SEO and details that get funneled through the website and everything else about that brand online and funneled back through the GMB account to show the map ranking.
Right.
Right. Map
And Google wants that local. They want that local source. They want to have that local listing.
Yeah.
For a service like that, they prefer it. So if you've got it, they'll try to show you.
They want to show it over the franchise. In fact, do you see any national companies showing up in your local map results if it wasn't a franchise or the national company located in your city? And the answer is no, they don't show up there.
Right.
Because they're not a local company.
Right.
Right.
The only time you see it is if Google has no local business to fill that space.
I had another guy I told you about. As another plumber. We'll throw. I don't know. For some reason, when we do this, a lot of this is just airing dirty laundry, and we got a lot of great plumbers on board. So
we do.
Yeah,
we like plumbers.
We do. So this guy calls up. He's super nice. His name, I'll say, his name's Billy, or Bill. My brain reverted to Billy with him because what we were talking about was childish. So, anyway, I talked to him for a while. He's a super nice guy. He's out of California somewhere, which is ludicrously competitive.
Yes.
Like Palm.
Yes.
I don't remember where he was, Palm Springs or something. I don't remember. Anyway, talking to him, and he hears this story about a plumber that we have that specialized in water heater repair.
Yeah.
Who rockets to the top of GMB listings on mapping because he's got fantastic local work, great website content, and he begins to use righteous reviews for check-ins, captions, geocodes being read by Google, and unique content like the photo and the caption, right?
Right. He's working the program.
He's working the program, and within 60 days, he starts showing up for everything possible in Chattanooga for water heater repair, water heater replacement, tankless water heater, gas water heater, whatever. Chattanooga, and boom, 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 he's showing up in mapping.
Right.
The guy hears the whole story and says, it just sucks for me. It really sucks for me. Forget him that he's going to have to figure it out.
Right.
That's part of his life process. I'm past all that. For me, it just sucks. For him, it's a learning experience. For me, it's just, I can't say the name. The stone up the mountain.
Oh, Sisyphus.
Sisyphus, yeah. Anyway, so I'm talking to him, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to hold off, Nolan. I said, okay, fine, he's like, yeah. I said, and he's kind of stammering around. I said, to see if it works without us? He said, well, yeah. And I'm like, I said, that's what you got from all of this? I'm like, good God, man. And
so I'm going to see if doing nothing
will
work better than doing something.
Right. I was like, so you took from everything that I told you over the last, several conversations that you get that letter back from Google and your map's going to do great in one of the most competitive categories in one of the most competitive areas of the country. He said, well, yeah. And I'm like, well, okay. I was like, I don't
even know what
else
to
say. I said, I'm not upset with you. It's frustrating. I understand that it's confusing for you. Just keep us in mind when things don't work out because they really do grade all this stuff. It's not just a direct result.
Yeah.
I said, it's difficult to get up there. You have to fight to get up there. And the whole point of all this stuff. So the first guy we talked about in Northwest Georgia, he's a nice guy and he listened to me. So I didn't have that deal to where someone's like, oh no, I need more leads because he was so frustrated by everybody. He wanted unique leads. Yeah. He listened. I said, well, yeah, there's this thing called local or Google My Business, and they want to show local people. You're in a rural market, so we're going to have city pages for you. We're going to add those. And I gave him pricing currently as of this time. We're hundreds less than $1,000 for this guy per month. He's on a month-to-month with $99 to start. Doesn't have to pay his first month unless he likes what we do. We're even making him a logo if he signs up. And he asked me to call him tomorrow. So we're going to call him back, and he's reasonable and nice about it, and he seemed to know quite a bit about it. and he was open to getting on this platform. And by the way, guys, local is like 75% of search. 25% of people are the only ones that click on the paid, right?
Right.
And so they're going to go to your map. Or they're going to go to organic search. About half people land on the map. About half the people in organic make it to your website.
Right.
We make large content-rich websites, work on them regularly, integrate righteous reviews, which is a massive opportunity for you to be one of the first people to do this level of what? Level of authority, check-ins, and content.
Yeah.
On organic.
It's the expertise, authority, trust, the check-ins, the righteous reviews. It actually hits all of them.
Yeah.
It actually hits all the buttons there, and it's just SEO on steroids.
I'll explain it again. I know we've done it multiple times, but in case you haven't heard it, Righteous Reviews is a platform that allows you to leave the client's door front and say, hey, please leave a review for us on Google.
Right.
I used to say, please leave a 5-star review, but the fact of the matter is Google doesn't want anybody leading anyone into a 5-star review.
Right.
I'll stop and segue on the review for a second to help save some people if they happen to go so far as to listen to this.
Yeah.
I know of a guy in one of our other categories in Fort Collins, who, by the way, did not ultimately sign up. You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think so.
Because he got sold by telemarketers, a bunch of bull.
Yeah.
But anyway, he lost his Google map, and he did $5 million a year and immediately dropped to $1.5 million. Insanity. And here's why he dropped: because Google doesn't want you steering a client into a 5-star review, and they certainly don't want you doing payola or paying the client.
No incentivizing.
No incentivizing at all. They don't want you to give $50 or $20 to your crew. They don't want you to tell your plumbers to get the money. You know,
Right.
So they don't want you having, fake reviews from friends and family.
Right. Especially.
So anyway, this guy was paying his employees and clients and doing this, and he had no idea. And ignorance of Google's rule is no excuse.
Right.
So they found out about it and wiped his website off, or his Google My Business account off the face of the earth, lost hundreds of reviews, lost his top 3 ranking, and basically lost his business. Calls me crying about it, basically. We start working on it, and then he gets sold this guy's a hardcore sales guy, forgets all of this stuff, and then gets resold, and we don't even finish up the site for him.
Right.
That guy making all kinds of mistakes. I will say this, so ignorance is no excuse. You're supposed to have, and it works with this. It works because you're supposed to go through this. You're supposed to learn what works for marketing. I want to talk about one other thing on this one, because I was thinking about the level of a client and the understanding of a client. The guy that lost the $5 million down to $1.5 million, he doesn't deserve it, really. And the reason he doesn't deserve it is because he spent no money on marketing at all, which he could have. Even though he did $5 million, people were like, well, that's great. Yeah, but he didn't have a website hardly.
Right.
It was barely up there. He missed all of his organic opportunities. He decided not to get any consulting or work on it. Therefore, he knew nothing about it. Had he been with us, he would have been consulted about this. He could have called somebody and asked him, is this okay?
Yeah, I was going to do this. Oh, God, no, don't do that. We have clients call us and say, hey, how can I get more reviews? It's like, well, your best bet simply, it sounds like a pedantic answer or something, but it's ask. Ask every customer.
Use righteous reviews.
If I offer him a Starbucks gift card or something like that, I'm like,
anytime it comes up, Jason, with me, I go ahead and tell them and educate them on the spot.
Yeah.
So had he been involved with professionals, treating his business professionally, he would have been up on even more. His $5 million would have been 7 or 8 or 10. He would have been participating in more things, and most likely he would have been educated.
Yeah. He would have had a resource that would prevent him from making a stupid
Very
mistake.
possibly, most likely.
He didn't do it, and I think we've covered this before. He didn't do it maliciously. He just thought, offer people a discount or
there's a lot of things in life that people could claim that they didn't do maliciously that they'd get in trouble for and be against the law.
Right, exactly.
It's like, I didn't realize Ponzi schemes were against the rules. I just wanted to make some money.
There's an episode of The Office where the head of the lead guy, Steve Carell's character, is talking about this financial thing he's doing, and someone says, no, that's a pyramid scheme. No, it isn't. It works like this, and he draws it out on a board, and it's a pyramid, and he goes, oh God, and he runs out.
Yeah, so you have to know this stuff. You work on your branded web presence. You show up for 75% of searches. You dominate as much as you can. You get leads from organic and mapping, and it's great. This guy's tired of it. He started it a lot, and it's not that he's a bad guy by any means for buying leads. I think it's logical to move through these steps in life.
Yeah.
Actually.
I mean, sometimes we even tell people, if you're first starting out, you may need to buy leads while your other stuff is getting going. But the thing you should remember is, for anybody thinking, you made the point earlier that they don't think they can get leads off Google. The company selling you the leads is getting the leads off Google.
Yeah, I didn't finish that statement, but they're getting them from
they
Google.
Are you by buying leads from them and not putting up your own website and working on your own marketing, you're allowing them to insert themselves between you and the actual lead source.
Right.
They become just a total middleman, intercepting stuff and then charging you to hand it off. And they hand it off to multiple people, so you pay for a lead that you still then have to compete for.
Yeah, and he only mentioned that part of it. There's a lot of other downfalls to this lead.
Yeah.
It's like the opportunity cost of a cheap hamburger. You know, there's a ripple effect to everything, right?
Right.
But in this case, the ripple effect is not only the fact that he has to compete for the lead, the client has no loyalty to him.
Right.
They have loyalty, my tongue isn't working, to the lead company.
Right.
They also are less likely to convert as a client for this plumber in the future because they're going to go back to the lead company and compete all over again. They're less likely to be a loyal client, less likely to convert. When you get a lead to your own brand, they're buying into your brand, not the lead brand.
Right.
They're going to convert better. They're going to pay more
because
there's
directly.
Less competition. They call you directly.
And if you impress them with your good work and everything else,
come back to your brand.
Then they don't go to Google the next time they need that service. They just call you.
So this is also like, buying USA maybe is another good analogy for it. You're pouring your money back into your brand instead of pushing your money out to that brand. Then they take that money that you gave them, they up the cost of the lead and put more money into competing against you for organic results.
Yeah, and build their own brand.
And
all of the customers go to them in order to get that discounted rate because all the guys buying the leads are trying to undercut each other to get to close the sale.
Yeah, it's a vicious little cycle. You could have gotten your own lead, higher quality, less competition. That client that comes to you is less likely to call other people, better return, better conversion, better repeat client base.
Right.
And you spend your money back on your own brand to take advantage of 75% of organic search and drive down the cost of lead by 300 to 500% and get a better quality and get a better rate of return on your money. It's a vicious cycle. It almost reminds me of a pawn shop when you buy the lead.
Right.
You know.
That's exactly what it is.
So,
except the pawn shop sells the thing to multiple people.
Sells what to multiple people?
Whatever they're selling.
Okay, so hope that explains things. We went kind of a roundabout, but that's the problem with leads for a client. And I'm not even saying, by the way, I've said this before, we're a marketing company. I'm not even telling you not to ever buy a lead. I'm just telling you shouldn't not work on your own effort.
Yeah, don't put all your eggs in any one basket.
I'm not even trying to vilify the entire lead industry to that extent. It's just that it's ridiculous not to build your own brand. And in most cases, someone builds up a dominance web effort, they probably wouldn't buy the lead. In some cases, for more aggressive plumbers, they would build up their own organic, get rankings as high as possible on mapping, on organic, and get as many reviews as possible. They also might buy a lead, pay for a click, and pay for social media.
Right.
They might even pay for some print. All that stuff could exist in a happy environment, but if you're only buying leads, I know the rate of return is lower, the cost is higher. It's a frustrating situation by itself.
Right.
Right. So I'm spent, man.
I'm done.
I've dropped my bombs of wisdom there. Take it easy, guys. Call us. We'd like to hear from you.